training aspect and performance aspect of the Excel sheet. The video after will be concerning the graphs that get populated as a result of filling out this sheet. But when we look at this, what we're looking at is exercise prescription. And my style of training is based off a number of different training principles picked up by different industry leaders, and also what the science has written about hypertrophy, which we'll be using in this explanation, because that's where the majority of my clients come from or come to me looking to achieve. Now, when we look at hypertrophy, we're looking at increasing muscle size. That's done mostly, in the large majority, through achieving a higher amount of volume, total amount of work done per week. So what we have here is an exercise prescription. And to run you through this tracker, what you have is on the right-hand side, right in the center, you'll see total amount of sets. That's 75 working sets for the week. How those sets were distributed for that individual person. So you have 20 sets for back, 20 sets for legs, 15 for chest, and 20 for delts and arms. How many reps that equates to. And then you can see day one, week one, so that's the first session. Touch and go deadlifts, 4 sets of 8. This person's gone and filled that in as they've done it. So they've done 8 reps at 150 kilos, 8 reps for set 2. So each column here is set 1 reps, set 1 weight, set 2 reps, set 2 weight. So 8 reps at 150 kilos. For set 3, they did 8 at 150 kilos, and set 4, 8 at 150 kilos. And you can see on the left-hand side here, they were meant to do 4 sets of 8. Now, what you can see here is total amount of volume they've lifted for that individual particular exercise, which is 4,800 kilos. As you complete that workout, you'll slowly fill in. You can see 8 reps at 30 kilos for the next exercise, which is the seal row, and on for the whole workout for everything that's prescribed. What you'll see down the right-hand side is the total amount of volume which is accruing, and that contributes to the total session volume, which is on the right-hand side underneath the yellow writing, which is 6,756 kilograms. Now, that's the amount of volume for that session. Now, looking at the week as a whole, if we summarize all the weekly session volumes here, what you can see at the top right-hand side is the total weekly volume being 47,547 kilos. Now, why is this important? Because over time, as you look to increase weight, you want to see, have I increased the weight that I've lifted for a particular exercise? Have I improved over the session? And have I improved over the week? Is that accrued fatigue and volume building? And basically, if you're ticking all of those 3 boxes, then you're winning in a big way. So if you were not to improve weight across the total amount of sessions for the whole program, you're still going to increase both the exercise volume, the session volume, and the weekly volume, because what you can see here, so if I go to week 2, down the middle, under total sets, you've got 80 sets. So that's a 5-set increase between week 1 and 2, which is about 7.5% increase of volume. And then from week 2 to 3, what you can see is an increase to 90 working sets, which is 12.5%. So what my programming focuses on is 12.5% volume increases every week from weeks 2 to 6. Now, the reason for a smaller jump between weeks 1 and 2 is because you're learning the movement pattern, and we want to increase the load, because as you get more neurally adapted to movement patterns, you can further increase the amount of load on the bar, and we want that to be the main form of overload in that first week. And then from there, you can choose to either maintain weight and increase the amount of total sets per week, or if you increase weight and increase sets per week, you get what is called like a double progression, where you're doubly improving. So to do this properly, make sure you keep an eye on the sets per week for each week. So what you can see here is 3 sets of 8 for seal row. In week 2, there's 4 sets of 8. So you need to be mindful of that. Improvements over the micro, this individual exercise, the session, and the week. What you can see for deadlifts, for instance, 4,800 kilograms for that individual exercise. By week 6, you were lifting 6,560. So that's a big tick. You've increased 2,000 kilos of total volume for that exercise in isolation. For the session, 6,756 kilos of total volume has moved to 10,470. So you've increased now 4,000 kilos across a session. And then 47,547 kilograms up the top right-hand side for the total weekly volume has moved to 91,241 kilos. So that's you've essentially doubled your work capacity, your volume accrued across that 6-week training cycle. And what you can deduce from that is basically you have 100% grown. You've 100% put on size muscle tissue, and that's obviously a great result. Now, in another video, I'm going to cover my individual training cycle phases and the way I go about structuring these. But to give you an overview, I go from a period of accruing sets per week while keeping reps the same at reps of 12, then would move to reps of 8. So the next training block would be reps of 8, so 3 by 8, 4 by 8, with similar exercises, maybe a few small substitutions for different exercises to keep psychological involvement high. And then moving to an AMRAP style for 6 reps, where you do as many reps as possible on a weight, which really ramps up your intensity. We reduce the volume to accommodate for that. Going back, when you recycle this volume, you're going to go completely new exercises, 10 reps, 6 reps, and then, so 10 reps on your first training phase, so for 6 weeks, 6 reps for your second training phase for 6 weeks, and then as many reps as possible again for 6 weeks before recycling brand new exercises for a set of 12 for 6 weeks. Now, that's a lot to take in. It's a bit confusing, I know, but I'm going to be doing a video on this separately, but it's just to give you more an idea. So the biggest things to take from this particular video is how to, one, fill in the spreadsheet. Second is how to look at the spreadsheet so you can see whether you've improved both across an individual exercise and volume accrued across a week, and most importantly, across a session and across a week. So across an individual exercise, across a session, and across a week.